All right. Yeah. Welcome everyone to today's community event. My name is Bam Shilepulokwe, and I'm the host for today's community event. The theme for today is leveraging tech skills to access global opportunities. We have speakers available to take us through this topic. One of the speakers is available, and the second one said that he will be joining in during the event. So as we start now, we are going to start the event right now. Thank you all for joining. I will introduce the first speaker now. The first speaker is Mr. Tunde Babatunde Obashola, and is a technology and business management professional with over 16 years of significant experience in technology strategy, digital transformation, and management, and is passionate about technology strategy, 5G and network cloud solutions for telecom organizations. And he has been opportune to work across different domains in his career as technology strategist, consulting architecture, operations and products management, and his experience cuts across several telecom operators and vendors. So to show you that we have a world seasoned speaker about to come speak to us. So as I'm inviting Mr. Tunde Obashola to take the podium and speak to us. Thank you, Mr. Tunde. You can take the podium now.
All right, thanks everyone, and thank you again. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to speak here. And I'm always very encouraged and always motivated when I have the opportunity of adding values to people, especially those that are at the point where they want to pick up a career or make a decision on what they need to do, especially in technology. As Tolulope said, I've been in IT and telecoms for over 60 years. I started my career as far back as 2005, 2006. That's when I started career. I left school 2002, 2003, and I started in the IT industry as far back as 2003. But in terms of the consistent career growth, that actually started in 2006. You know what it means when you finish from school in Nigeria, where you go for your NYSC, and after that you're still trying to get your footings on what you need to do. So I finished from LAUTECH, that's Lado Capital University of Technology, where I read electrical electronics engineering. And after that, I served at Ilorin. Then at the time when I finished, that was the time IT was becoming something that's becoming relevant in Nigeria. It was still very, in terms of the applications and the use of IT, it was still very low at an infant stage as at that time in Nigeria. Me studying electrical electronics engineering, there was this level of convergence on what electronics is doing, or electrical engineering is doing, and what IT is doing. So as far back as 400 level, I'd already started making up my mind that I was going to focus on IT. And the steps I took that time was very strategic in terms of looking for an IT company to work with, getting involved in things like website design, networking. That's why I started my interest then. Then when I wanted to do my project, I did something else to do with website development. That was as far back as 2003. So the passion has always been there. Then leaving university, I was able to get some jobs. But it wasn't easy initially because going to NYSC, I was teaching in school. Then after teaching the school, in the morning, in the afternoon, I'd go and work in a cyber cafe like we used to have in those days. The reason why I was doing that was because that's 1 year. I knew that teaching in primary school or secondary school, in as much I was adding value, but in terms of the skills that I would need in the life, in terms of my interest in engineering, that was not possible from there. So as at that time, I would go to school 8 o'clock to 2 a.m. in the morning to teach those kids. Then in Ilorin. Then in the afternoon, work in a cyber cafe where I was helping them to fix their computers. So that was how the passion started rising till I got a job after NYC. Then I was opportunity to work in the companies such as Ericsson. Then at that time, Ericsson is a Swedish company providing infrastructure for mobile telecoms operators, like the likes of MTN, Airtel, that you have in Nigeria. So that working with them, that actually opened my, give me a wider horizon, what technology is all about. And that was the foundation. It gave me a wider horizon of what technology is all about. And so that's at that time, that's when I started shaping my career in terms of developing skills of what I need to do and how I can be relevant globally. So the major thing about technology skills, that's what skills is not about. Certifications are good. It's good to have certifications. It's not about degree, but at the end of the day, globally, what matters is what skills you are able to provide. Hardly will you go to get a job globally, internationally, where they will ask you for your university certificates or your secondary school certificates. Some do ask, like the financial institutions, they might ask. But a lot of times, especially technology-driven companies, they'll be more interested in what skills you are able to add and provide for the company. So joining Ericsson at that time, I started working with them for some time. Then that's really widened my interest. Then I also saw people coming in from abroad to work in Nigeria. We call them expatriates. So it opened my eyes that technology is like the same everywhere. That's one thing. It's the same everywhere. It's just how we apply it and the level of investment that we put into it in being able to change organizations, change society. That's what makes difference. Makes a difference. So these guys coming to work opened my eyes. Then I started looking more into networking parts. That's infrastructure parts of telecoms. That's what we call IP, TCP, WAN. That's wide-area network. So that really helped. Then after that, I moved out of Nigeria to Ghana to work for the same company. And then since then, I've been able to really move into different parts of the world to work. And then working for Ericsson, I've worked for Airtel. That's Airtel. Airtel in Nigeria. I work for them in Ghana. I work for them in Congo, Brazzaville. I work for Tigo, is a mobile telecoms company in Ghana and some parts of South America. I also work for Samsung. I work for Motorola in the UK. In Sierra Leone, I also work for Ericsson in Sierra Leone. So in the UK, I work for Telefonica, O2 Telefonica, that's a mobile telecoms operator. I work for Motorola, I work for Samsung, and presently I'm working for Accenture, and we are focused on the architecture for telco cloud networks in Accenture. So that's just a summary of my career. Good. So first of all, let's start on what's the purpose of technology. That's the first thing we need to start. We need to start. I was preparing a slide on this, but I didn't have time to really put more effort, a lot of effort into it because of time constraints. But I will just talk more about this. Now, the first thing you need to know, as I said earlier, is that technology is relevant to every society, is relevant to every organization, and it's the bedrock for whatever you're going to do in any organization, as we all know. And if you just go to Google and type the most demand or highly demand jobs in the world or globally, you will see a lot of options on technology, professions on IT, software development, product management is always part of it. And in most first world countries, a lot of the jobs are highly in demand. There's the health sector is highly in demand, followed by technology. Then the other professions, they come after that. So that shows the impact of what technology is into the societies. That's the first thing. Then the next thing you need to also know is that gone are the days that when organizations try to make strategy for their year or plan or budget for the year for their companies, where they will put options, okay, business, whatever they're doing business, and maybe budget for those in HR, budget for operations, budget for IT. No, that's not how they do. What they do now is that they put a focus on height on technology, because technology drives everything now. It's always the first priority, because every other area which I've mentioned, operations, the HR, supply chain, all those other departments technology serves as the bedrock to be able to implement whatever they need to do for the year. So that's what it is. So I've said two things. First thing is that technology is globally relevant. I mean, it's relevant to every society, every environment. Then number two, for organizations, is a top priority for most organizations. That's the second thing that you need to know. So the next thing I want to talk about is that, okay, so how do I position myself? How do I become very relevant? One thing you need to understand, as I said earlier, is that if you go to Google, search for most highly demanded jobs of the future, or maybe jobs of the present, you see things like automation. You see things like automation, like computing, artificial intelligence, machine learning. Those are different trends that are coming in now, which shows that in the nearest future, there will be more needs, or there will be less needs for people, but more needs for platforms that can automate the jobs, that can make things to work more efficiently without human interruption. That we can have something we call zero touch application, zero touch provisioning, which means that humans are not needed to make things to work in those places. So the issue now is this, that how do we create those applications? How do we create the technology to make it work? That's where people come in now. That's where skills now come in to be able to make those things to work for organizations. So, and there's always a high demand of people that will be able to do this. As I said earlier, like software developers, product managers, infrastructure engineers, cloud engineers, whatever, in all these areas. So there are people that always be needed to be able to do this. So first thing, as a person, what I will advise if you're looking into technology or to build a career into technology is to first of all focus on skills. So it's not about, okay, what pays well, which in as much as money is good, but the fact is that you should be able to create value. Is the value at the end of the day that's be able to bring the returns that makes you valuable both to the organization and also makes you valuable both to the society. So the first thing is skills. Skills is very key. So in anything you're going to be getting, skills should be priority in whatever you need to do. Skills that is relevant for the organization where you're going to be working, and skills that are relevant globally. So as I said earlier, with the technology being globally relevant, what you have in Nigeria is also the same thing that applies there, like where I am in the UK in terms of technology, talking about cloud technologies. These are some of the things that the banks in Nigeria, they are running on now in terms of, you've heard about AWS, you've heard about Google Cloud Professional, GCP, you've heard about Anthos as part of Google, you've heard about Microsoft Azure. So these are cloud platforms whereby people are now putting their workloads, whatever they are doing, instead of having them in hardware or servers locally, or maybe putting things on their, what's it called, data centers, they are now hosting it onto the cloud network, giving it to companies that we call hyperscalers, the likes of Amazon, Microsoft, the likes of Google. So those things are applicable in Nigeria. They are also applicable abroad, globally. So in Nigeria now, a lot of banks, a lot of companies are looking to all these cloud companies to be able to host some of their workloads. So my point is that technology is the same everywhere in terms of in terms of what is being used in most places. What makes difference is that how we have been able to apply it. That's why Nigeria is a very very good country when it comes to technology, because one thing about especially guys that are skilled in Nigeria is that they are always at the breast of whatever they are doing. They are not the guys that can bamboozle when it comes to latest trend in technology. You understand? So you must be able to have a global view that, okay, whatever I'm doing now, whatever I'm learning now, how applicable is it globally? So you must see yourself from a global perspective. Don't just see yourself from a local perspective. You know what I mean? Don't just see yourself that, okay, this is just a job which I'm doing for now to make ends meet. In as much as that is okay, you must think, okay, what skills am I building? How am I appreciating the skills over a period of time, maybe 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or 1 year or 2 years? And how will these skills translate to a value which I can add globally? That's what you should be thinking. That's okay, whatever I'm doing now, how can I make use of it so that when I leave Nigeria, if I'm not in Nigeria, whatever environment I go, I'm able to apply that same skills. So that should be the focus of whatever you are seeing, that, okay, I have the right identity and perspective that I am a global citizen. That's the first thing you need to do. I am a global citizen. I'm not just local. whatever I do is not just relevant locally, it is relevant globally. So that should be the first mindset. So that as the mindset. So the next thing is now how you can accelerate the skills. So in such a way that based on what is in demand globally, you're able to bring yourself to that stage whereby you've acquired a level whereby you can call yourself an expert. Expert means that anywhere you go, in the place that they need you, you're able to apply what you've learned and you're able to value what you're bringing into the organization. And there are a lot of skills around this area, which I'm sure a couple of some of you might be aware of. So there are skills around product management, which has to do with innovating products, product innovation, product roadmap, product development, like all these things you use on your phone, like all these apps, like Google Map. That's a product that was developed by Google. We also have something we call Waze, which is also part of Google's products. There are so many products. There's Apple Pay. These are different products that people develop where they are focused on what value is going to add to the end users. So things like product management, things like product design, we have things like software development, where you design software solutions, which is supposed to add value. Maybe it's supposed to be an app you want to create, maybe for an organization wants to create, so they need software engineers to work on that. There are things like infrastructure engineers, cloud engineers, so a lot of skills. There's a data analyst, being a data analyst, data scientist, which has to do with AI, machine language. So many of these skills, there are so many of them, they are available. And all these skills, as I've said, they are applicable globally. So what is limitation is just you. If you want to limit yourself in such a way that you can be relevant, not just locally, but relevant globally. So let me stop there for now. I don't know if there's any question or you want me to go ahead.
You can go ahead, sir. At the end of the meeting, we'll take questions after the second speaker speaks.
Okay, that's fine. Good. Now, I was talking about different industries, organizations that we have. Like we have the government, automation, hospitals, manufacturing and energy, the automotive. And all these organizations I talked about, what they write on is technology, as I've said earlier, technology, because these organizations they have different applications which they are using, and they have different platforms which the applications need to write on. And those platforms has to do with servers, we call cloud platform, containers, containerized platform. There is some level of orchestration also happens there at that level. Some of you might not be able to understand the terms, but you can go and Google some of them when after the meeting. So as I've said earlier, so what the priority for these organizations, the top priority at that level is technology for most of them now, because a lot of them are seeing that without technology, they're not able to drive whatever they need to do, maybe their budgets, whatever they need to implement, whatever their vision is for that particular year, they are not able to drive it. So what I would advise you to do, first of all, is apply yourself to skills. Get an environment where you can develop skills. That's the first thing. I've talked about different professions under IT. We've talked about data science, talked about software engineer, infrastructure engineer, network engineer, a couple of others. Get an environment where you can develop skills. Skills is very key. People that have skills rule the world. You understand. The people that have skills, they rule the world. They change things. In an interview globally, in most countries, nobody will ask you how many, what's your first degree? Of course, they could ask, but in terms of what matters, what are you bringing to the organization? What value are you bringing in? So make sure you have an environment whereby your skills are appreciating. If you join an organization, after 3 months, assess it. What value have I brought to this organization, and what value has it brought into me? After 6 months again, assess it. After 8 months, assess it. After 9 months, assess it. After 1 year, assess it. If you feel you are not adding value compared to your counterparts or compared to what is in demand globally, then you might need to change organization, or you might need to get an environment like training platforms where you can develop skills. So other ways to develop skills beyond organization is all these training platforms where you get hands-on experience, like what Bincom is doing, where you get hands-on experience, where you'll be put into live projects. Live projects is similar to what you do in an organization, where you can now develop skills which can be applicable globally. So the first exercise or the first emphasis, as I've said earlier, in this area is skills. Skills are very key. You can use that to leverage global opportunities. Skills are very key. Is very key. Then number two, which I said earlier, is having a global mindset. That's this second one. Have a global mindset. As I said earlier, technology is relevant everywhere because the world is becoming a global village. Whatever you access online on the social media, the server could be seated in maybe in China, in Indonesia, could be anywhere. So most countries, they are making use of technology. There's no country on the earth now, on the world, that's not using technology. They are all using technology. The only difference is like how much they've been able to apply it. Now, you might have the first world moving fast at that level, but even in Africa, we have a lot of countries, even Nigeria, that are really making use of it more in the private sector. As I said earlier, we have countries like Rwanda, they're also doing well when it comes to technology, making use of technology. So technology is relevant to every society, is relevant globally. What just makes the difference is at what level, at what rate it's been used. So that's the second thing which we need to take into consideration. The skills, first one. The second one is global mindset. That's the second one. Those two things. Those are the things I believe can help you to be able to make use of the opportunities that are available globally. And let me just say this, just to bring it back to my own experience. I talked about different companies I've worked with, and one of the things that's helped me in my career, I'm still growing in my career, I'm still moving on. One of the things that helped me to move from one company to another is skills. Skills is one of it. Of course, God's blessings is another one, but skills has been a very key one, being able to move around from one company to another. So skills is very key. There are times that I've changed jobs in as much as they pay very well, but when I look at my appreciation in skills compared to what is available globally, or compared to some of my counterparts, if I say I'm not moving on in skill, if I say that where I am, even the jobs might be paying well, it has some perks. But when I look at skills that I'm not appreciating in skills, which could help me to progress my career, I've taken steps, I've made decisions where I had to resign from those companies to look for other companies which might not pay better, which might not pay much, but to be able to get the skills I need, which is supposed to be an investment into the next level of the career which I want to attain. And that has helped. It has helped over the years. And some of those companies, being able to enter them, I gained the skills after some time again. So that's an investment which now appreciates to make me get better opportunities in other companies. Good. I think my time is on now. I think I've spoken for almost 25 minutes. Yeah. Thank you. My time is up. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, sir, for that wonderful presentation. And I'm sure a lot of us have questions that we want to ask. So we'll play a very short video for everyone now, just to tell you a little bit about the services we render at Bincom. And then the second speaker would speak. Then after the second speaker has spoken, then we will take questions where the both speakers will come and form a panel where they will take questions and answer every question we want to ask them. So thank you for your patience. So I'll be playing the video right now. Thank you.
Development Center in Nigeria, and our major objective at Bincom Dev Center is to produce over 1,000 quality tech individuals every year. These people are highly employable, globally attractive, and highly sought after in the tech ecosystem. You ask why, right? Yes, tech talents are in high demand in international communities such as US, the UK, Canada, and France. These countries have made policies and pathways to enable immigrations for tech talents, and guess what? Average salaries of software developers are as high as £35,000 per annum, and this is at the entry level. The opportunity for tech talents are endless, both locally and internationally. This means that the tech ecosystem is one of the highest employers of labor in Nigeria. Yet, many tech companies say that they are not able to find the right tech talents that they need. This is why we started the Bincom Global Tech Program. The program focuses on 3 major pillars, which are learn skills, gain experience, and gain exposure. The program spans between 1 to 2 years, and during this period, trainees are taken through an in-depth curriculum in their chosen tech tracks and also in development of soft skills required for them to become globally attractive in the tech ecosystem, both locally and internationally. This program helps trainees to learn tech skills, gain relevant tech experience, and also exposure to the endless possibilities and opportunities available in the tech ecosystem all over the world. Listen to some of the testimonials of our past trainees.
Yes, I had high hopes and expectations while joining Bincom Academy, and trust me, believe you me, yes, it was met beyond my expectations. I saw things I have never seen. I did things I thought I would not be able to do in the space of 1 to 3 years. I achieved so much.
Actually, my expectation was met. I think at Dev Center, Bincom ICT I learned quite a lot of things. Learned web development, front-end development. I learned mobile development. Coming here, I was thinking I enrolled as a front-end, a mobile app development team, but later on, actually lead my hand on some project of front-end teams, lead my hand on content development like WordPress, like Joomla, also work with some nice front-end frameworks like Angular and the likes.
The program has various knowledge tracks that you can choose from. Some of the technical knowledge tracks include the data science track, which is starting with Python. We have the backend track starting with PHP, the front-end mobile app track starting with JavaScript, the DevOps infrastructure track. We have the UI UX graphics track, and also the software testing and quality assurance track. And apart from the technical and software programming knowledge tracks, we also have business knowledge tracks that are equally highly paid across the world. And some of them include the project, service, and product management track starting with Agile. We have the digital marketing, performance marketing track as well. That's interesting, right? Yes. This is a highly intensive program. You need to be able to commit at least 40 hours every week to the program. You can choose from our various shifts. We have the regular shift, which is the 40 hours weekly, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays and 1 to 2 Saturdays a month. We have the night shift, the 40 hours weekly, which is 5 p.m. till late on weekdays and 1 to 2 Saturdays every month. We also have the majorly weekend shift, which is 40 hours weekly, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays, and then 4 hours every other weekdays. We also have other flexible shifts based on your availability. Yes, all you need to start are a laptop device and a passion and a hunger for IT. But wait, it gets better. We have various financing options to help you cover the cost of the program. Though the program is not free, you do not need to have money to be able to apply and be admitted to this program. The total cost of the Bincom Global Tech Program over the 1 to 2 years period is 1.2 million naira. And we have one of the financing options available is the income sharing agreement, which means that the company will sponsor you through the entire program and you only start paying when you start earning income. After the program, this means that aside the skills, the experience, and the exposure, the company is also willing to invest their money on you. It doesn't get better than that. What are you waiting for? Hurry up to bincom.net/globaltech and register to launch your global tech career. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That was a short video about services we render at Bincom Dev Center. So I don't know if the second speaker is around. Oh, I'm sorry, let me check. All right, second speaker is not here yet. So in the absence of the second speaker, which is truly apologized for, we can take questions now for people that have questions. The speaker is ready to take your questions. So if there are questions, please you can go ahead and ask your questions now. Maybe if you want to change part in deck or whatever, you can ask your questions now. So yeah, the floor is opened. All right, sir. Okay. So someone have a question. Someone stop.
Okay, I think I do.
All right. Okay, thanks so much, sir. My name is Moses Elijah, and I'm actually a digital marketer, amongst other things. So you mentioned something that was very important about the product development, product managers rather. So I have started. There's something I'm doing from my end, kind of like an upskilling to add to digital marketing part of what I do. So I'm kind of like taking two extra career paths: product development, product management, and project management as well. Once a person is done, let's say, gaining the relevant skills, all right. How did you reach?
Sorry, it seems the line is breaking. Elijah Moses.
These organizations out there, or how do you send your reach to the group? Oh, all right. Can you hear me, sir?
Sorry, your line was is quite bad. It's very hard for me to hear you.
Okay, how about now? Is it better, or should I try?
Yeah, it sounds better now.
All right. Okay, so in summary, the question is, after learning the relevant skills, right? How do you advance further into leveraging opportunities out there? Like, for instance, when you learned the skills you got, how did you extend your reach to become visible enough for the organizations we are targeting to get to you? Yes, sir.
Okay, that's fine. Thanks for that. Yeah, first thing is to, as you said, make sure you are very comfortable with your skills. And skills, we keep on learning. Like somebody posted in the chat, there's upskilling, reskilling. You keep on learning because in technology, things are changing fast. That's just what we have in the field. We have things move at a very fast rate, and you have to be very sure that your skills is always becoming relevant. It's always getting relevant, to what is in demand. So once you feel that, okay, you are quite comfortable, and confidence matters a lot, whereby you don't limit yourself in your mindset. You might think you don't know much. You might think you don't know much, that, okay, how would I survive? Because I've seen friends that they came visiting me in the UK, and I had to encourage them that with what you know, what you have, you can get jobs in the UK. They didn't believe, until, of course, I had to do some level of mentoring, helping them with the confidence, and they did some interviews which really helped them, and they got jobs. So confidence matters. When you feel, okay, I'm relevant, what I've done is quite, I'm confident in what I'm adding value, the value I'm adding, and also looking at what is in demand outside. And one of the ways you can get more on what is in demand, to know what the people are asking for, is going to the likes of LinkedIn jobs, search for jobs there. Indeed is another good one. Jobserve.com is another good one. That's for international jobs. Just Google it. Let's say you're a product manager, type product manager jobs. You can now see skills that they're asking for. You understand? So with that, you can now gauge that against what you know. That, okay, if you Google about 5, let's say search for 5 jobs and say, okay, these are the skills that most of them are asking for. Do I have these skills? If you don't have it, so that you don't go and mess up yourself, add more value. How do I get these skills so that I can be relevant? But if you feel you have those skills based on what you've searched for, then go for it. Apply for the jobs, do an interview. When you start doing interviews, start gaining more confidence in what you're able to do. It could take it some time. You could do 10 interviews before you get a job. You could do 1 before you get a job. But just make sure you are out there, putting out your best, and you are consistent in your job search.
All right. Thank you so much. So, thank you.
All right.
Thank you. So, do any other person have any question? Any question from any other person? Right. In absence of question, I think I have a question also. Is someone talking? All right. In absence of question, I do have a question. Like for a beginner now, someone that is new to tech, totally new to tech, what will you advise the person? Like, what type of advice will you give the person in picking a tech skill to start with? You advise the person like, okay, with this type of language you start with and how to start with the person. So that because when the person starts, so is it what type of language you give the person to start with? Someone that is just a newbie in tech, that just heard
Okay.
about tech and how the advantage it adds to it. What advice would you give? Okay, if the person meets you and say, oh, I want to start tech, what should I tell the person? Do this, do that. What will you advise me to?
Okay, that's for first thing I always start with is asking people why they want to go into tech. That's the first question I ask, because technology is not the only job available. Why do you want to go to tech? Especially this, a lot of people now, some might be thinking of money. That is because it's money, or maybe that was in demand. That is, it's not really, it's not wrong to, of course, money is good and what's in demand is good. But beyond that, there has to be a passion. That's the first thing. There has to be a passion. So what I do with people, I do a SWOT analysis test for them to see their strength, weaknesses, what they like to do, to see where they will be, where they can add value. So based on that, based on their interests, like someone that likes to take care of people, that can be compassionate, whatever, you understand. The person will still do tech, but maybe the person will fit more in another field of profession. They also depend on what they study in school. So when I see them that, okay, they are wired to be able to do technology. They are like people that could do patient to be a software developer. All this because their personalities also come into place when it comes to all those things. Like if you are not a patient person, you are not a person that can devote yourself to study or look into an issue. You cannot be an engineer. You cannot be a cloud engineer, or you cannot be an architect, a solutions architect, or a developer. So personality plays a role in all these things. That's just at the beginning stage. So let's say you've now made up your mind you want to do tech. So the next thing I would do now, okay, technology is very wide. There's, as I said earlier, there's data analysis, data scientist, there's a cloud engineer, there's networking, there's software engineering, so many things in technology, you understand? So what I would do basically is that, okay, let's give a foundation for everything. This is what each of these things entails. That's now at the eye level, not in details. This is what each of these things entails, and this is the value it adds to the society. This value it adds to organizations. So you see the end states of whatever technology is doing. You see the end result. So it's not about the job now. Like an app, like your mobile banking app. Okay, that was designed by someone. That's was designed by someone that was developed by a software developer. There's a UX engineer that has to do with the user experience interface, all those things. So you see the end results of what technology is creating. So when you see the end result, you can now relate it to what's to the job. Okay, if I'm doing this, it is the end result of what the result is going to be. So based on that, given a right foundation for all that, you now have a choice to say, okay, maybe based on this, I can be a data analyst. Or maybe I can be a product engineer, now move to a product manager later, or maybe I can be a software developer. So you get exposed to everything at the beginning. So after getting exposed to everything at the beginning, then next thing, after that, you can now make a choice on the one you want to focus on based on your interest, based on your personality, based on your aspiration. You can now pick one of them. So if you're going to be doing, let's say you're going to be doing data analysis now, go for a training. There are a lot of trainings, and it's not just about the training. The training might just give foundation. Skills is very key. Skills are very key, sorry. So the likes of what Bincom is doing is a very good one, where they give you life projects to work on. You understand? Because for most organizations now, they won't just give you a job. They won't give you a job if you don't have skills, or they will say, okay, you have to be first class, so you have to be second class, which for me is totally irrelevant. That's what happens in Nigeria. It's totally irrelevant, to all these things. So the likes of Bincom, what Bincom does is that they will take you in raw, and they will now put you in an environment where you have life projects, which is similar to what you do in organizations. So Bincom will pick a life project. Let's build an app where you are supposed to be the product engineer, product manager, to develop the concepts, to develop the concept, user requirements for that app. And now what happens is that you give a report of what is happening, how you're developing it. They do training for you, teach you about stakeholder management, the project management part of it. So an environment like that where they will give you skills, that's where I would say you should focus on, where you can develop skills which you need for that particular focus area of profession in technology that you decided to go into.
Right, that's very clear. Yeah, thank you, sir. Oh, that that's okay. Yeah, I think I do have another question again. For someone that already learned the skill, I have this right skill for the that he wants to use to go into tech. Let's say you have learned JavaScript, TypeScript, and he's very good with it. And he's going for interview, but he's filling out interview because maybe he does not have some other necessary, maybe like he doesn't know how to write, correct codes or stuff like how to put how to, maybe the person doesn't know how to go to an interview. What would you advise the person to do? But
Okay, first of all, you need mentors. That's the first thing. I've done a lot of that, and I see they do a lot of that, and I know Bincom also does that. That's something that happens. In this field, networking is very key. That shows your strength and capacity of what you're able to deliver. So you don't work alone. That's first thing. I've been like I can remember some years ago when I was in Congo Brazzaville and I was working for a company. I was put on a project which I've not done before. I was employed, I had the skills, but they were bringing new solution. And so I had some issues when I was installing a Linux server from scratch. And I remember then I wanted to make the Linux platform to make it like something we call Cacti. Cacti is used for monitoring performance of the network. So next thing, I called a friend in South Africa, and it was with me for 2 hours to get it done, you understand? So it just shows how networking is very key. That's why don't burn bridges when you are working with people. Make sure you maintain that because you don't know when you need them. There are times I could be in an issue that, okay, there's a new solution we're bringing in. I could call a friend. Have you guys done this before? Why do you think I can check it? So networking is very key. That's one. Then number two, mentoring is very key. Mentoring is very key. If you've not been, you could have the skills, but you might not be prepared for an interview because being able to pass interviews is another ballgame entirely. I've seen guys that are very skillful, but when it comes to their presentation in interviews, they don't do well and they keep on failing interviews until we mentor them to be able to do well. And I think that's what Bincom also do, what Bincom also does. So you need mentoring. Get somebody that has gone ahead in that field to be able to put you through how to handle interviews. That's what I would say for that, to be able to pass interviews.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So another question I have is this degree. Let's say now someone that have a computer science degree and someone that is self-taught. Which one do you think company will want to go for? Because like in Nigeria now, we really focus on certificates. So because I know that in general in the world they might not really be focused, but in Nigeria you actually need to get a certificate. So I don't know. So now it might be daunting for someone that just start, like he's self-taught, he taught himself, and it's very good. And someone that have a degree in computer science or computer engineering, they will want to like prove. Which advice you give to that self-taught?
Yeah, in as much as degree is good, it's okay. Of course, everybody wants to go to school. But moving abroad really changed my mindset on that. As I told you, I've not worked for any company abroad where they've asked for my certificates. I've worked for like over several companies abroad. None of them has ever asked for my lab tech certificates. I even need to look for it. I don't know where it is anymore. You understand what I mean? So as I said again, be self-taught. I'll focus on that. I know Nigeria the way it can be that because I didn't go to school. But that's why I say I have a global mindset. I have a very global mindset. If you have self-taught now, maybe, but because you still want to stay in Nigeria, it might be okay to go and start doing maybe a part-time thing or maybe an online thing if you want to stay in Nigeria. But if you have a global mindset that you want to work internationally, then don't focus on that. Focus on your skills. I've had a manager before, a white manager that, of course, was my manager. He said he didn't go to the university, and the guy has really moved on his career, has worked in different parts of the world. So it just shows what we put emphasis on in different nations, you understand? So if you have a degree, that's fine. If you want, I will advise people go to school. But if you're at the stage whereby maybe you didn't go to school, but you've been able to expose yourself, you develop yourself, you have the skills, it's very good. Just focus on how you can get international jobs. And there are a lot of remote jobs now whereby it could be in Nigeria. As long as you have internet, you can also get those jobs done.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
That's fine.
Thank you, sir. That's nice. Yeah, thank you, sir. Yeah, so for the mentoring that you mentioned, is there like maybe platforms or something apart from Bincom, like maybe like group?
Yeah, I know Bincom has not because I'm trying to market Bincom, but it's because I've been able to interact with Bincom for a couple of for some time now. Bincom has the platform to mentor people where if you're starting afresh or you need direction in your career, they will train you. They will also mentor you, where they will assign you to a mentor that will guide you. That's one. And if you need to face interviews, that's the process. There's also time for that, but you must have shown that you've applied yourself to gaining skills very well. so that they can now support if you need to face interviews. So Bincom is a good example for mentoring. I also mentor people. I mentor. So there are a couple of places like that. They follow people to on LinkedIn. I've followed them on LinkedIn. I've been opportune to get mentored through people on LinkedIn where I've learned from people. You understand? So if you have a target of what you want to achieve in your career, that's the first which I've talked about earlier, the vision where you know where you want to be based on what's in demand. Follow people that have achieved that on LinkedIn. See what they are applying themselves to, see what they are doing, follow them, comment to them. If at times you can message them. I've messaged people before. Like, there was a time I had to speak in Germany for a world conference on 5G and evolved packet core in 2017. And I was preparing, but I needed more knowledge on that area. So there was a guy I just searched for people that are into that area, I followed them. There was a guy that was really talking about it in that area. I saw his publication. I sent a message to him that, okay, this publication, I want to pick from it. Can I use it? He said, yes, I can. And he's been a very good mentor to me since then. Even when I got new jobs, some of the things he said, some of his presentations, I check it and it helps. So follow people on LinkedIn based on where you want to achieve, where you are going your career. If they've done it before, they have achieved it, they're good for you. Follow them, check their skills, how they've moved. If you need to message them, send message to them. A lot of them respond. Once they see you're a good person, they see your backgrounds, a lot of them will respond. That's why I would say then for close mentoring, the likes of Bincom or individuals that have also done is gone ahead, you can also get involved with some of them.
All right, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. So yeah, does any other person have any question for the speaker? Oh, finish the event. If there are questions, you can ask the question. And once again, I apologize for the second speaker inavailability. It was due to an unforeseen circumstance, so I'm very sorry for that. So please, if you have questions for the speaker, you can ask your questions now before we come to the end of this event. Okay, all right. If there are no questions, so one more thing, sir, before the event end, we'd like you to share with us your profile or your social media accounts where we can follow you and to connect with you in case if we want to get more from you to connect with you.
Okay, that's fine. Just search for Babatunde Obashola on LinkedIn. Let me just put it on the chat. Babatunde Obashola, that's all. Just search for that on LinkedIn. If you need to message me, drop a message, I will respond. I've had people meet me on LinkedIn before that they needed help. I responded to them. That's career advice now. Career advice, interviews, all that. So just send a message. I think I should be able to respond. Yeah. And you can also add me and connect to me there.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for that, for the wonderful presentation, and we appreciate your time, and we hope to see you again on another event. Thank you.
That's fine. Thank you.
And yeah, thank you so much of today for joining. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you all for joining. We've come to the end of today's